Debates over integrating devout Muslims into society are not unique to the United States. Effective today, it is illegal to wear a burqa in France or a niqab like this, a Muslim veil that reveals only the eyes. The new law drew protest and confusion on the streets of Paris. Two women stepping out in their niqabs and drawing a crowd were arrested for staging an unauthorized protest. The French government has called the veils, and I quote, a new form of enslavement, end quote, not acceptable on its soil. Many Muslims are enraged, but not all. I'm joined by Hiba Ahmed, a writer for the blog Muslim Matters, who's against the ban. She's in Albuquerque. And Mona El Tahawi, a columnist on Arab and Muslim issues, who wants to see the ban extended everywhere. She's joining me from Washington. Welcome to you both. Let me begin by, if I might, by quoting President Sarkozy of France in his justification for the law. It's kind of a remarkable statement. He says, and I quote, this is the President of France, "The burqa is not a religious symbol. It's a sign of enslavement, of debaseness. I want to say this solemnly. The burqa will not be welcome on the territory of the French Republic. We cannot accept in our country women imprisoned behind a mask."
In case you guys don't know what mediation means, it is individuals or groups that cannot work through a conflict on their own, so they may request an intermediary, such as a lawyer or a counselor. So, conflict transformers help disputants to think in a new ways, but about the conflict, which requires a commitment by both parties to regard each other with goodwill and mutual respect. Religion is a very sensitive issue in this case, and a conflict transformer should advise both sides, so both sides could open up to each other and come up with a solution. In this case, the French has a conflict with the Muslim, and vice versa, because the French doesn't approve of the veil, of the Muslims wearing the veil in their country. Thus, both sides go against each other. The answer is no. It is more relatable to the political and historical context, as the contexts are sources of conflict. The tradition of the veil itself has been in existence since before the advent of Islam. The obligation for Muslim women to cover their heads was made part of Islamic law during the life of Muhammad, and this legislation spread via Islam to all over the world. When the French forbidden the veil, a huge conflict is created between the French and the Muslims from all over the world. When people fail to realize their own values and customs are the product of their cultural upbringing and believe that their way is in fact the only proper way of perceiving and doing things, such ethnocentric attitudes gets us in trouble every time. They lead to faulty assumptions, misperceptions and misunderstandings, and create resentment, tension, and conflict. It is believed that permitting the veil in public places in France opens the door to other practices that exist in the Muslim world and which pose even more handicap for women. So, the French believe that the veil makes women weaker, makes women an easy target. But the Muslims, it is their tradition to wear the veil. It is a symbol of their submission to their husband. Stated in the Quran, in Surah 33, verse 59, in the Medina Revelation, it says that, "O Prophet, tell your wives and daughters and the women of the faithful to draw their wraps a little over them. They will thus be recognized and no harm will come to them. God is forgiving and kind." Seeing that, the Muslim women has to wear the veil as a sign of honoring God. So the French just cannot see that. They see it as the veil making women as an easy target and making them look weak. Different worlds with different mindsets collide, and a conflict will appear. So for productive conflict, individuals and groups narrow the conflict in terms of definition, focus, and issues. On the other hand, for destructive conflict, individuals and groups escalate the issue or negative attitudes. So the second characteristic is as for productive conflict is, individuals and groups limit conflict to the original issue. On the other hand, for destructive conflict, individuals and groups escalate the conflict from the original issues, with any aspect of the relationship open for re-examination.